Welcome to episode 11. We're going to continue on from our episode 10. We go for our first test drive. Though we had a few problems, I identify and show what the fix is. We do have a small fire. Stay tuned for that. And I take a good friend of mine, Craig, for his first ride. And we test out the traction control. Yeah. I'll see you on the backside. First time in the sun. So I want to preface this first test drive. This isn't going to be, light your hair on fire and hold on. This is a systems and mechanical check. Staying around close by in case there's any issues. Have my fire extinguisher with us. Not sure exactly what to expect, so we test the brakes. We check reverse. Check all the oil pressures, check the temperature, look at the gauges, make sure things are reading. This isn't terribly exciting, but it is a huge moment for me on this project. Yes, that was so awesome. Oh, the first drive, I spent many nights just kind of almost dreaming of what that would be like. So yesterday was our first road test. Had a couple of issues. I'll show you one of them. The rear wheels, the rear tires are rubbing on the wheel well. Let me give you a close up here. So the tolerance is pretty tight on the inside, and it sits slow here. You can see it was rubbing off some of the paint, and then closer on the inside, you can see obviously where it's rubbing right here. So I'm gonna have to notch that out, give some space. I was hoping that wasn't going to be an issue. We had this kind of the problem, the same thing up front. Because the wheel well was a two-piece, and then the body line. As soon as we set the chassis down with its weight, we noticed that the steering wasn't going to clear. So we had to basically
notch this out and bump everything out. So I'm gonna have to do the same thing for the rear. One of those things that this is why we're testing it now while it's still in the raw stage, so we can make that all happen.
If you recall from episode 2, just after I finished the outer frame rail and we set that down on the powertrain, set on the tires and wheels, that's when we actually located and placed wheel wells. So I just placed a 2-inch tube, set up a little jig over the tire itself, and set the wheel well on top of that jig. Gave it placement so it would clear the wheel, tacked it in, and moved on. Big my mistake. What I didn't factor or figure was the rest of the weight of the car. So by the time we got to this point, with that extra weight of the car, of course, it lowered the suspension just from the weight of the car about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. Before I cut out the wheel well, I shaped basically the body line to make it match and fit. Then we cut everything out of the car. I get a square tube here to try and bend out the parts that are remaining in the car, because we got to bring it out. So I want to create a smooth transition to try and bend these out slightly. I then create a sleeve to put inside of the tube. And that'll also give me a better welding surface. All right, so here's kind of the finish that's just tacked in. I'll need to obviously weld it up. So I kept my body line, kept part of the wheel well layout. Front's a little off, but what's more important is the clearance here. If you look down, now we got good clearance. So no more tire rub on that side. I'll do the other side tomorrow. Okay, so here we have the roof and its panel. I did 3 crossbars that run the length of the car. Of course, one from the middle being the spine, and then 2 on each ends. I didn't want to place these in until I could kind of get in and out of the car to see how it was going to kind of feel and work. Here we have the grab bar, which is in the corner, which helps and assists you, of course, to get in and out. All right, so today I'm going to be working on the frame for the windshield. When I had this on the trailer, I went over and saw Dave over at Arizona Glass. I'll get you his name and context here. But what we need to do is take a 1-inch bar stock, this type of material, and create a frame inside the opening for the flat windshield to lay in. All right, so I got all the straight edges tacked in for the windshield, and I cut the corners just basically out of flat stock, made it the same angle, so it's going to land in and look something like this. So it gives me the 1 inch that I need. I'll obviously tack all that in. It'll give me a nice clean corner to then the rubber gasket and the windshield. Well, the towel I had over the steering wheel caught fire. Is what we've got there. Luckily, nothing happened on the steering wheel. Whew, that was close. So, all right, here's everything tacked in. So I did the corners, got the straight edge, cut out the corner, everything's just tacked in. So this will allow for the windshield to come in, lay flat. There's a rubber gasket that sits over this, goes over the glass, and it comes over the top of the glass. Everything's pretty well mocked up. I gotta finish a few welds. I'll do all that with the chassis off. Oh, well, that was so awesome. Able to test the traction control on and off, which was pretty cool. I hope you've enjoyed episode 11. Wanted to say thank you and a shout out for all those that are subscribing, watching, and following. Please be sure to share and continue to do so. I would really love your input, so give me some of your comments. Stay tuned for episode 12, where we actually start to disassemble, if you can believe that or not, to get everything ready for powder and paint.